You trying to tell me it is not a time for troubled youth? Stand up straight.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is
Morning Somewhere!
for June 24th, 2020. My name is Burnie Burns, sitting right over there. She is sitting up straight. It's Ashley Burns. Say hi to Ashley, everybody.
I did. The second I heard that in the drop, I was like putting the shoulder blades together.
Yeah, you gotta remind yourself every now and then. Have you ever seen these things? You like wear them like a reverse necklace, and they beep at you when your posture gets bad.
No, if I had one of those, it would constantly be beeping.
When the older boys were teenagers, remember I got them that it's like a backpack with no backpack.
Yeah, it's like these straps that go around like the front of your shoulders and then they connect between your shoulder blades and then you tighten it up. And the idea is to, once again, like pull your shoulders back, right? Because I feel like when your shoulders are like slumped forward, then it's that much easier to curve your spine forward.
Yeah.
Like it's harder to curve your spine forward if your shoulders are back. I don't know. But that's where all the poor posture begins, is like the shoulders just rolling forward.
Ashley, you're a woman.
Go ahead.
You grew up as a woman. Was there ever any discussion about finishing school? What is finishing school?
Man,
when did finishing school end?
What is
was that like ladies would go and they would get a high school diploma?
I assume that's where you go and learn to like walk with a cup on your head or like books or whatever.
Books on the head is what I always think of.
And that's how you learn to like eat your soup without slurping.
Was it a school
And they teach you how to use a napkin properly? I don't know.
Like
finishing school is an educational institution that focuses on teaching young women social graces, etiquette, and cultural skills as preparation for entering society.
Yeah. That's something that maybe casually people who grew up in America might have heard of it, but people outside of the U.S. would go, what the fuck did you just read?
I don't know. I had home ec, and I learned how to like sew pockets on stuff and bake bread. That's the closest I got to finishing school.
I took that too. We made like rice pilaf or something like that.
And you know what? In theory, I really like the concept of like home ec as a class, home economics, where you would learn, I guess that was the closest I got to like budgeting lessons, is like you would be like, here's your like a grocery list and here's how much it costs. And you had to like balance a made up budget, like an imaginary budget. I think, was home ec also the class that would give you a baby? I think in our case, I'm remembering this from grade school. I think we got eggs, and we had to have an egg in a basket. And we had to take the basket with the egg in it everywhere with us.
Yes.
And then we had to not break the egg.
It's weird.
It's metaphorical.
Because this is how like genderfied education was back in the day. They would do that for girls, and then guys, we had to build something where we could drop an egg off of like a balcony and it wouldn't break the egg. Like an egg drop thing, right? That prepared us for like chucking our kids in the pool, I guess, or something like that.
What that was for boys is an education on like how you could jump off the roof and not break a leg.
Yeah, I used to jump off roofs all the time.
Did you really? I've never jumped off a roof.
That's got to be at least 7 feet, right?
Yeah. Did you do the thing where you would like drag the nearest trampoline as close as possible and then try to jump off the roof onto the trampoline?
Well,
did you just jump off the roof?
I grew up in Houston, and I grew up in a part of Houston where we didn't have really big backyards. So when we were on trampolines, which immediately just became like half the springs were broken or there was a tear somewhere.
Of course. And none of this cozy little like coddly BS about having covers over the springs. No. Or having cages so that you can't bounce yourself off, like launch straight off the trampoline at like 60 miles per hour in just some random direction.
When did they first put the net around trampolines? Because I missed the moment that happened.
I missed that too. That's sometime between like when I stopped going on trampolines and when I like had kids and started paying attention to trampolines again.
It's funny
which,
because,
to be fair, is a big window.
Do you ever see the viral videos of like a gymnast doing a move and they're like 30 feet in the air on their third somersault out of 5? And then all of a sudden the spotter like throws the mat out to catch them. It's like, what did they see? Like, how did they know?
I mean, I guess they've been doing it so long that they're like, oh yeah, their hand placement was wrong. They're not going to finish this. And they like, I've seen too, sometimes they like casually like kick out the mat and just go, there you go.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like running and like diving to catch this gymnast who's just gone through the air in their arms. The gym coaches, like watching their catches is really impressive.
Yeah, like when they can catch someone with one arm like flying off the bars or something like that. It's pretty
Yeah,
impressive.
and then you see the gymnast's head stop like a millimeter from the ground.
Those are also the ones they post. Right.
Yes, that's true.
Some of the other ones they post. But I always wondered, like when I see those videos, how the hell do they react that fast? What did they see in the air? But now thinking back as a kid, being on a trampoline that didn't have the net around it, as soon as a kid bounced, I was like, oh,
You
yeah.
knew.
I was like, yeah, they're going off. Like, hopefully they don't hit the springs on their way down and catch an ankle or something. But growing up in Houston, the biggest threat out of everything, yes, we did jump off the roof because most of the houses in Houston were one-story houses, at least where I grew up. But also in the backyard, there was always a massive air conditioning unit. That was the monster. Like you would always land on that with like your back on the corner of this thing.
Now, see, as a grown adult, I'm listening to this in a horror, not because the kid might get hurt, but because those are really expensive.
Oh, right.
Those
right.
like air conditioning units. I'm like, you little motherfucker, do you know how much that's going to cost to replace? Yeah, I know we're going to have your hospital bills too, and we're not going to be able to afford them because we're going to have to replace the goddamn air conditioner, you punk.
The guy comes out and he sees like the dented fan guard on it. And he's like, well, I know what happened here. There's a trampoline like 4 feet away. I know exactly what happened. But if I tried to jump, like what at my age is the most I could jump down off something? Because I would jump off the roof. I would go like into a little squat. I learned early because of my idiot friend Paul, you can't like rely on the gutter to hold your weight, you know? So you have to like stand back from the gutter.
Uh-huh.
And then you like squat down and then kind of like hop jump from a squat. It doesn't lower your distance from your feet to the ground, but somehow that was the way to do it.
Softens your knees or
Yeah.
something. Maybe it has something to do with as well. You're trying to get like the easiest and most vertical momentum so
Maybe.
that you like, because you know, when if you're going forward and you land, it's really easy to then like tip over onto the knees and, you know, then you have to like catch yourself with the hands. But if you can go straight down, right, and you can land softly like a cat with your like soft ankles and soft knees and stuff, then it's like not so bad.
Oh, the ninja roll. That's what, you know, if you can
Ninja
if
roll.
you can just tap your feet and then roll, it takes away all your momentum. I don't know why or how. It's got to be bullshit, but we just believe that when we were kids.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I know there's a science behind. I just don't understand the science, so it's funny. Like if you see everyone practicing, you know, karate or martial arts, whatever, and they fall and they slap the mat. I know that that's a real thing and that it helps take some of the momentum out of the fall, but it still looks very funny
Yeah, it looks pretty funny.
because I don't know the science behind it.
Like if you were falling in something like in a car or an elevator and like the elevator fell all the way
And
to
then
the bottom.
if I slap the bottom of the elevator, will I be safe?
My friend Rob Flint, when he was a kid, he would say, we had this argument all the time. Dude, just wait till it's like 2 feet off the ground and then jump and you'll be fine. Like, it's not the
And
way
then
that works. at
double
all.
jump,
Yeah,
right?
no concept of like momentum or anything like that or relativity. It's just like you just jump inside the elevator. You're going up. You would be fine. You would be fine.
I wonder how much video games and movies and things have broken my understanding of human ability. Because, one, we all grew up with the double jump, which we all acknowledge is ridiculous and silly. And yet, you just want to imagine, like, if I could just jump on 2 feet up, just jump. Or I always think that, like, humans are basically impossible to destroy because I've seen too many, like, fighting movies and things where they can, you know, they get shot and then they go on to, like, crazy fight scenes. And then 2 days later, they're totally fine again. Until I do something like walk funny on my ankle.
Yep.
And then it goes to the side. And then I'm like, well, fuck, that's the next 2 weeks for me are going to suck.
If you put me on something and said you're 6 feet, 7 feet in the air and you need to jump down to the ground, I would literally probably rather do anything else than that. Like, I can't even imagine that today.
The plan that I have to make, we have our little Polaris, the little like utility vehicle that we drive around the property to haul stuff. And it's, what would you say the bed of that is?
Waist high, 3 feet.
3 feet off the ground.
Yep.
And if I'm standing on that, which I don't, but if I'm standing on that, looking down 3 feet to the ground, I have to make a plan
Yep.
to jump down.
Vin jumps off
all
of
right.
that all the time onto cobblestones with welly boots that have a heel in them. I'd be like, just get right back in the car. Just drive me to the hospital right now. Immediately drive me to the hospital in the Polaris. I'll lay in the back of it. Nope, there's just something to it. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
We're getting brittle.
Yeah, we're getting. There is now, it's the real, you've probably seen it 50 or 60 times now too. The one that everyone is seeing and then just repeating themselves is like somebody jumping off a counter in their kitchen or something, like after they changed a light bulb. You remember changing light bulbs, by the way?
I do. Been a while.
This, like, I think about how much time I spent changing light bulbs. Yeah, we had jokes. There was a whole category of jokes about how many whatever.
It's a genre.
To change a light bulb or whatever. And it's just like, it's not a thing that we do anymore.
Well, not nearly as much. Because we've switched almost entirely over to LEDs. And I wouldn't say we're getting the like 10, 15 years that LEDs originally promised they would have as a lifespan. But it is significant. There are one or two rooms where, I don't know, the voltage is weird, so we can't do the LEDs. And so we've done halogens instead. And those is a notable difference. And I note them, and I'm like, look at this piece of shit. What are these piece of shit light bulbs? Because they're normal light bulbs, and we've gotten so much used to the long lifespan of LEDs.
There is stuff in this place. It is so old that when I look at it, I go, I hope I don't ever have to deal with that. And one is that huge, like, it looks like a tar-covered cable, thick-ass cable that provides all the power to the house. I don't know why it's covered in tar or whatever that is, or if it's something that was on the outside of it that is degrading. And I just look at that and I go, I hope I never in my life have to touch that.
Well, I know if we have to get it recoded, I know what company I'm not calling in.
What's that?
Atlantic. The guys that did the reflecting pool.
Oh, are you going to talk about the reflecting pool?
Atlantic Industrial. Look, just because it's so I feel like this is a story that does not need to be this big. It's they recoded the reflecting pool. It's a piece of shit. It's already flaking. Now people are posting pictures of like dead ducks from algae blooms or something from this stupid pond. And it's this stupid, I know it's part of this grand American monument and it's very important, but it's also a very silly story.
Here's the trap I fall into with the reflecting pool thing. I don't like this story at all. Because I feel like it's one of these things that everyone wants to talk about because it's easy and it's very distracting. And there's so much bigger stuff to talk about, but I can't fall into that trap, right, of doing that. I wish people were talking more about what's going on in Iran and the peace deal and the $300 billion that we're giving to Iran. That seems like a bigger deal than even the, $14 million?
Do you know how many times we'd be able to recoat this pool with that money?
Well, let's find out, because we're going to find out because of how many times they're going to have to recoat this thing before the...
I guess so.
The crazy thing is, like, we're, 2 weeks away from the 250th anniversary of America. Like, that should be a much bigger deal. And it's like, everything that America is doing right now is wrong, except for World Cup. Like, somehow we have 2 wins in World Cup. If you're keeping score at home, for some reason now, America is good at soccer and bad at war. Yeah. When did that happen? Did I miss a newsletter?
When did we become Europe?
Let's roll this patch back.
It is true though. I mean, I'm gonna give credit to the Major League Soccer, right, for driving up interest in soccer in general, but also good on you, America.
Yeah,
congratulations.
But I guess people are interested in this reflecting pool story. They think it's like a grand metaphor, I think, for the state of America these days, or the state of the administration.
Me, but do you think that's what the mystique is around it?
It's gross and it's weird. I get it. There's another story that's gross and weird. This actually kind of lines up. There was this Knicks fan. I'm sure you've seen this viral video. Have you seen this viral video where a Knicks fan found on the streets of New York City a Knicks orange and blue painted trash can, and I guess decided, wow, that's cool. I want this as a souvenir. So dumped out the entire contents.
I did see this video. I didn't see a lot of like context around it, just that it was, she was wearing like a Knicks jersey, right? So she's like coming from the game or something. And then I just saw the emptying of this trash can onto the sidewalk,
of trash,
and then walking away with this gigantic
while people
trash
are filming her doing it and her happy about doing it and walking away. And there's pictures of her like riding in the subway with the trash can or whatever. Think about a New York City parade. It was filled with trash, right?
Of course.
And she's just dumping this out and takes it. Well, the New York Post is reporting. I'm going to be really clear. I'm going to say that twice. The New York Post is reporting. This is actually part of this conversation. That lady now has been identified, and she was an executive at JP Morgan Chase.
She could have afforded that trash can. She didn't have to dump a bunch of stuff on the sidewalk.
I want to say she lost her job. I want to say she was like 40 years old, right? And she had some job that made no sense to me at all. Like she was customer engagement of like cards and community or something like that. But the story that they're pushing, right, and which is why it got picked up, and it got picked up it's all over X and everything like that, and it got picked up by the India Express. Who knows why that would be a relevant story in India? But it is that in her former job, she was a director of DEI.
Okay. I can see exactly which outlets are going to pick this up then.
Right. But the flip side of that is because the New York Post is reporting this, I read it and I said, okay, well, I got to be more media savvy. The New York Post is reporting all of this. I got to go find somebody else who's reporting this about her getting fired from JP Morgan Chase. Because if you're not from America, you might not understand. Watching someone dump out an entire trash can, the one social thing we have in the U.S. is don't litter. That's it.
The only time you're allowed to dump out a trash can full of garbage on the sidewalk is if you're about to throw that trash can through the window of a bus as part of like a properly sanctioned riot.
Right, exactly.
You know, if you're all like jumping up and down on cars and stuff and like throwing trash cans through windows, then totally fine. That is the only time you can dump out trash.
If she walked to Washington and threw it in the reflecting pool, that would have been great. On fire. That would have been great. So then I went to other places. I got to find this somewhere else. So they had her name in the article. And so I looked up her name. Very unique name. So it'd be easy to find other places. And I couldn't find it anywhere else being reported, like other than people who were citing this New York Post one. But then I realized it's like, no matter what the news outlet is now, I know that everyone is deciding whether or not it's a good story to post. And the places that I would normally go for sources would deem this as like, it's not newsworthy because it's not good for us to report about this. You know what I mean? Like me with the reflecting pool thing. It's like, I don't want to talk about it because I feel like it's a distraction from the real thing. And those are the little choices that we make.
We're not going to talk about this because it's not like the important thing or because
it takes away from the thing we should be focusing on. But
sure.
Who am I to determine what we should be focusing on? You know?
Fair enough. But I will also put the caveat out there that the New York Post is not generally one of the places that I consider the most trustworthy. So if I was an outlet, I would be independently verifying things.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, it's one of those things, too. It's like the New York Post in general just seems like a thing that's almost like one step above a tabloid as well. But they were giving very specific information about the person and their job and their age and everything like that. It seems like easily verifiable stuff to me.
Right. But it is difficult when you have to like figure out what is the agenda behind whatever you're reading. Because everyone's got one, and that decides not only what they cover, but what's missing from coverage.
And should I be comfortable when someone is helping me push my own agenda? Like, I agree with this particular agenda, so I'm okay if we, like, toe the line on this agenda, right?
Yeah.
Of course, this is also the death knell of, like, any liberal discussion at all. It's an overanalyzation of, are we doing this right? Whereas I feel like most other news outlets don't care.
They're good shit.
They'll literally say whatever. Like, that. It was interesting that yesterday about the reflecting pool, Trump said in a press conference or like, one of these little like meet and greets in the Oval Office. I'm not sure what this is exactly, what you call that. But people were asking questions about the reflecting pool. And he said there was a 350-foot gash from vandalism in the bottom of the reflecting pool. That it was somebody came in the middle of the night and vandalized the pool.
Don't they have security?
And apparently threw ducks in or anything. Well, I don't know if you read the stats.
Didn't they call like the National Guard or something in to like guard this pool?
This thing is bigger than a skyscraper, Ashley. So as Trump was touting right before they redid the whole thing. They redid it the first time.
But the first time, okay.
Did you see the photos of the guy who's purported to be the contractor behind the reflecting pool?
No.
Let me send you this photo.
No, the only
This will be one for the linked up. This guy looks like a Dick Tracy villain. He looks like he stepped out of the pages of a comic book.
No, the only thing I learned about this company that we will not be hiring to recoat any of our cables, Atlantic Industrial Coatings, is that, so I went to their website and I went to the about and it was like we're a women-owned business. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting.
What?
And so I went and looked it up, but it's like owned by like some dude named Eddie. some dude named just like, this is Eddie. And I was like, why would you put that then? Did you just need a buzzword?
Meanwhile, God bless Europe. You know what Europe did just yesterday?
What'd they do?
They banned airlines from charging you to bring hand luggage on the plane.
I like that.
You can't have a separate charge for that. It's got to be built into the cost of the ticket.
I like that. It does mean cynic in me says, well, then the cost of plane tickets is going to go up by exactly that amount. But it is a step in the right direction as far as having the price that you see be the price that you're actually going to be paying.
Many years ago, as a young man, as many young men do, I went through a very anti-government stage.
Is this when you were jumping off roofs?
Yeah, it was after that. I moved on. I went through an anti-government stage where the government's bad. Everything the government does is bad. You know, that old catchphrase of "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." That's an old Reagan thing.
Being like the scariest thing you could hear. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I went through that phase, and I had a friend of mine who said something to me, which I took to heart. A good friend, Matt Hullum. We were young men, and he said, "Well, I don't really think of like the government as being the government." He goes, "It's amazing how much the context of your conversations about the government can change when you replace the word government with the people. If the government is the will of the people, then you talk about that's the people." And I feel like Europe is the one place in the world where there is at least still the semblance that the government is the representation of the voice of the people. I feel that way.
Well, I think it's indicative as well that a lot of people in Europe are very politically active in that they very enthusiastically make their thoughts known if the government is doing something that they're not happy with. We see this like on the daily basis in France, right? We're like, all right, what are we protesting now, boys? But then also, like in, Germany, when the farmers like roll up and dump a bunch of manure on like town hall or something, and they will make their voices known. People are much more politically active, and they're not going to tolerate governments doing things that they feel are not in their best interest.
That has to be a discussion at some point in there where they're like, hey, should we eliminate all corporate taxes? It's like, yeah. Hey, you remember that time they pushed the flaming dumpsters through the doors of our palace and cut our heads off? You remember that? Yeah.
We don't really want to do we want to invite that again? I mean, I do think it's
Let's punt this until next year.
I do think it's probably fairly healthy for a government to live in fear of its people.
Yeah. Well, it should be like, Matt said years ago, it should be idealistically the people itself. It's of the people, by the people, and for the people, right? That's the whole thing, at least in the U.S. That's the way we think about the concept of government. But I just feel like more and more it's just not that way. It's just not that way.
But come to Europe and you're going to have all-inclusive costs in your plane tickets, and you can thank us for the USBC as well.
And your USBC. Not us. Do you consider us to be part of Europe? We literally voted to leave the EU.
No, I'm just taking credit where I can, okay?
Exactly. That's the American way. Find something invented in Europe or Canada and take credit for it. That's American. What's more American than that? While we're talking about Europe, though, let's talk about World Cup. So yesterday, the big story for the World Cup was that England drew against Ghana.
What was the expectation?
I think that everyone was super happy it's coming home and everything. England always gets ridiculously optimistic about their soccer hopes. Always, always. I love that optimism never dies. It's the one British, pumping sunshine activity.
Very, very popular sport in the UK. So it makes sense that they'd be optimistic then about the sport.
Man, I saw a stat today. So Scotland plays tonight against Brazil. Good luck. Also, Ronaldo now is the first player to score a goal in 6 different World Cups, which that's got to be what, at least 24 years? That dude still looks like he's 18 years old, for God's sake.
Look, soccer will keep you young.
I feel like when Messi has like a big record, then Ronaldo has to come in and have one. Also, people are telling me
they gotta go there and be like, "Hey, get our people on to find out what I've done."
While I'm clearly mispronouncing foreign names, people were telling me I'm mispronouncing the word reagent. I said regents. They're correct. I only ever read the word.
Yeah, there's a lot of words I feel like that where I'm like, I'm going to get it wrong, and that's okay because I've probably seen it in print more than anything. Reagent's going to be one of those. I guess it's a basis of reacting.
Yeah, well, I also took chemistry at the university level, like upper division chemistry, and I'm pretty sure in chemistry I would say reagent, but when I was talking about spells, I guess I just learned it as regents.
Well, it was probably because when you were playing Ultima, was that before or after your university classes?
Well, I think my spell casting terminology comes up as about as often as my chemistry upper division university level terminology comes up.
It's just when you need to armchair expert about pool coatings.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, I would think that as a guy who's interested in etymology, I would think I would be way better at pronouncing stuff than I am. And I'm just not. I'm just bad at pronouncing stuff.
Well, sometimes you don't realize like what like that there is a terminology or an etymology behind a word until you really sit down and think about it. And what percentage of words can you afford to give that kind of time to?
But even if I say like a spells reagents, it just feels weird to me. Like even though it's correct and now I know it's correct, I'll still get it wrong for the rest of my life.
Well, it's because in your formative moment, when you first read that word in Ultima, you probably read it as regions, and it does something. That's how you pegged it in your head. And even after you change it in your head, you will have to remind yourself for a really long time that it's a different thing.
It's just my upbringing. It's hardwired in me. I learned it when I was just an egg in a home ec class. I learned it that way, and I can't unlearn it now.
I can't believe you didn't have to carry an egg around.
Honestly, probably what it was.
Take one to class.
Too many landings on the AC unit. Listen, I jumped off roofs when I was a kid. You can't expect me to get everything right. Yeah, so I don't know Scotland's hopes against Brazil tonight. Scotland does not have a lot of optimism. You don't run into that a lot.
No, the local friends have been quiet about this one.
They're pretty quiet, yeah, about this one and Morocco as well, who we drew against. But we're kind of in a position where we have to draw with Brazil. But as the standings are currently, with Scotland having 1 win and 1 draw and a 0-goal differential. Another big story from last night is Portugal won by 5 goals differential. That's big for them.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's big for them. And so the current standings, BBC does projections on where they'll end up if somehow the math carries forward from where we are now, which is utterly impossible.
Are they trying to spreadsheet soccer? You don't do that. You only spreadsheet baseball.
Ashley,
what?
I saw something though that this would be something that might make me think about getting on a plane and going to the U.S.
Go ahead.
Currently, as it stands, who Scotland would face in the qualifying rounds would be Mexico. Scotland versus Mexico.
Okay.
Which is just like, holy cow, I would love to go to that match. That would be amazing. Those are like, let me think about this. Those are like my 2 adopted cultures in my life.
those are the 2 cultures that you say like have taken into yourself the most.
With which I have integrated at the highest level. Like I'm not Mexican and I'm not Scottish. No part of me is at all. But I have been immersed in both of those cultures, like for, big parts of my life.
Do you think?
I would love that.
Do you think if this goes well, we could see a surgence, and I'm going to say surgence because there isn't even enough of a trend to be a resurgence of Mexican food culture in Scotland? Because I feel like a lot of Scottish people would, like, if you go down the list of like things that like Scottish food prioritizes, they would also then love Mexican food, right? But Mexican food is really difficult to get properly in Europe because if you ask for a tortilla, you're going to get a Spanish tortilla, which, by the way, is like made out of eggs. It's different. It's like a quiche.
Ashley, keep talking. You are blowing. The level of optimism that I have in my body that TexMex might come to Scotland now because of the World Cup. This is what it must be like to be an English soccer fan. This is it right here.
This is it.
The level of optimism I feel.
It's coming home.
And it's based on nothing whatsoever.
It's based on a flimsy potential future hope of a game of soccer and fans that might talk to each other.
I'm going to cue something up here. I found somebody, a European who tried biscuits and gravy. We'll have to link this in the link up, but go ahead.
But think about it, like, what do you find a lot of in like Tex-Mex food? There's a lot of potatoes. There's a lot of meat right there where we've got 2 of the major crossovers. That's an easy one. I do think that if we expose Scottish people to more Mexican cheeses, they'll understand why we're like cheddar is not enough.
Chorizo here in Scotland is not the same thing either.
It is not the same thing.
It is like stale pepperoni.
Once
and
again,
chorizo.
it's Spanish chorizo, not Mexican chorizo, right?
It's like if you took pepperoni and dried it. It's like sun-dried pepperoni.
Gross. Now, the risk that we could run here is that because some of these foods share the same words, but they're not the same thing as their European counterparts, that people will try them expecting the European version. They won't get the European version, but because that's like what they grew up with and what they've learned to expect, like reagents, it's going to feel weird.
No, I think what'll happen is someone from Scotland, from Glasgow, will go and they will have a chorizo and egg breakfast taco, and what will happen is the clouds will part and a sunbeam will hit that person, and they'll be like the new William Wallace. They will bring Tex-Mex to the shores of Scotland, and it'll be amazing.
And then we'll be in Glasgow every weekend.
Okay, all right. This is a European traveler who was recommended to try biscuits and gravy and their experience trying it. I'll have to cut this down because it's pretty long, but we'll link the whole thing in the link dump.
USA, a breakfast counter. The waitress recommended the biscuits and gravy, and when the plate arrived, I thought something had gone wrong in the kitchen. I tried it. I must now formally apologize to the biscuits, the gravy, the waitress, the kitchen, and the entire breakfast tradition of the American South. A national dish that forgives you for doubting it. It expects the doubt. It waits for you on the other side of it. Do not judge the gravy by its face. Judge yourself for hesitating.
I couldn't agree more. Biscuits and gravy, man. I love it. I love
the
it.
best.
So that's my hope, Ashley, that the World Cup, what we get out of this is we get Tex-Mex in Scotland. I miss Mexico. Weirdly, I miss Mexico more than I miss America because you can't escape American culture anywhere. But there's no Mexican culture here. There's just not. It's just like, it's not the same. So I can't experience that. I miss that.
Do you remember when I was pregnant with Evie and we were doing our best to get labor going? I read somewhere that spicy foods helped. So we're in Aberdeen and I looked up like burrito places and I went there and I ordered their hottest salsa. And the lady was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, yeah. She was like, it's very spicy. And I was like, give it to me. I need to burn.
Yeah.
Right. And I was so excited for this salsa that came with a warning. And I ate the salsa and I was like, fuck, this is like mild, medium at best.
Yeah. Anything that's labeled like super hot on the package. This is not the spice.
I was like, all right, I think we're going to need to go east and do like spicy Indian food if we're going to have any hope of this spice kicking off, activities. And none of it worked, tragically. The burrito was good, at least.
It was. That was like one of the few places we've been that was like really good for burritos.
But it was one of those burritos that's like, the like Chipotle burrito, which it's a burrito, but I wouldn't qualify it as Tex-Mex specifically. It's like, it's really big and it's got the rice and the beans and it's delicious, but it's kind of its own genre. There's a lot of those around.
This weekend, we're trying something. We're going to go to the Glen Allachie Distillery, because they're doing a pop-up for a Texas barbecue place that's based out of Aberdeen, but Aberdeen's too far to go. So we'll make the road trip and go to Glen Allachie this weekend.
Okay, sounds fun.
And we're going to try this barbecue place. But I still want to go down to Glasgow and try that one place with the guy.
Fire and Smoke place?
Oh my God, the guy does like 5 reels a day. Like he is super into his barbecue.
If we can get Tex-Mex and Texas barbecue in Glasgow, we'll be there all the time.
We got to do it before the EU makes it illegal. That's the thing. Before they standardize it.
Before this is unfair competition. You can't have this.
All right, Ashley, who is joining us in line at the food truck this weekend?
All right, shout out to Sierra214 and Mindy. Thank you both for sponsoring this episode of our show at patreon.com/morningsomewhere and roosterteeth.com. I hope your barbecue is delicious.
All right, good luck tonight, Scotland. That does it for us today, June 24th, 2026. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you will be here as well.
Bye, everybody.